We usually think of a seafarer's job as, well, battling the elements, storms, high seas, that sort of thing.
Yeah, the physical challenges.
Yeah, exactly. But looking at the Indian maritime sector right now, in January 2026, the real battle seems to have shifted.
It really has. It's less about the waves and more about mastering communication, digital bureaucracy, and just navigating all this geopolitical instability.
So today we're doing a deep dive into a few new circulars and advisories. We've got a new, pretty rigorous training mandate for officers
There's also some very strict digital rules for revalidating certificates.
and a critical safety alert regarding Iran that everyone needs to know about.
So the goal here is to help you, the listener, understand these three new fronts: mental competence, administrative compliance, and of course, physical safety.
Okay, so let's start with that first one, the mental front. The Director General of Shipping just released an analysis of oral exam results from the last couple of years. And honestly, the numbers look a little rough.
They are concerning. What the DG Shipping found is this very specific pattern of failure.
A pattern.
Yeah. Candidates are clearing the written exams, no problem. They know the theory. But when they get to the oral exams, they're just hitting a wall.
So a lot of people are failing.
A high number of officers are needing multiple attempts to pass.
But wait, if they pass the written test, then they clearly know the material, so why are they freezing up in the orals?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the diagnosis seems to be a lack of structured, practical reasoning.
So they can recite a rule, but they can't explain it.
Exactly. They know the what, but they can't really articulate the why or the how when an examiner puts them in a dynamic scenario.
So how do you fix that? You can't just give them another textbook to memorize.
No, you can't. So the solution they've rolled out is this mandatory structured oral examination preparatory program.
That sounds formal.
It is. Think of it less like a class and more like a finishing school for officers. It's a 4-week intensive course, 5 or 6 days a week.
Wow, that sounds grueling.
It's designed to be. It moves away from just lectures and focuses on interactive mentoring. They even start week 1 with a diagnostic mock exam.
So they grade you before they even start teaching you.
Right. They need a judge line. From there, you're put into a category. Ready requires limited revision or extended preparation.
Basically a filter then.
It's a filter to ensure that before you sit for the real exam, you have the professional judgment to actually defend your decisions out loud.
Okay, so let's say you survive that boot camp. Now you've got to deal with the second front, the administration.
Right.
The DG Shipping released this Seafarer Series Guide.
Right.
Which is a terrible pun, by the way.
It is. It is pretty bad.
Yeah.
But the content is crucial. Revalidating your certificate of competency, your COSC, is now this 3-tier process.
What does that involve?
You've got your e-learning, then practical training at a maritime training institute, and then finally an exit exam.
But here's the part that I think is going to trip people up. It's the digital profile requirements. The circulars are highlighting these incredibly specific rules for your Indo's profile photo.
And for anyone who doesn't know, INDOS is your Indian National Database of Seafarers number. It's your unique ID.
And the photo rules are just so strict. White background, 70% of the image has to be your face. Formal dress,
No selfies.
no selfies. It just feels a bit trivial, doesn't it? To think you could stall your career because your tie was crooked.
It feels trivial, I get that, but you have to think of it like your digital passport now. The system is using automated biometrics.
Ah, so it's not a person looking at it.
Exactly. If
Yeah.
you upload a casual selfie or a cropped image, a human isn't rejecting it, the AI is, and it triggers a hard stop in the system. Your whole exam cycle is on hold until it's fixed.
So digital hygiene is now a career survival skill.
Okay.
That brings us to the third front, actual physical safety out at sea. We've got this urgent advisory from the Ministry of External Affairs about Iran.
And this is a very serious situation. Because of rising unrest and economic protests in early 2026, the Indian government has advised all nationals to leave Iran.
Just leave.
Leave via commercial flights, yes.
But here's the thing. There's a massive contradiction here, isn't there? The government is saying, get out for your safety, but we have huge commercial interests there.
We do. And the advisory explicitly notes that the Chabahar port project is still active.
So business as usual at the port.
The ministry clarified that despite the unrest, that port is critical for connectivity to Central Asia. It's even running under a U.S. sanctions waiver that's valid through April.
That puts seafarers in a really, really tough spot.
It's a total tightrope walk.
You have an advisory telling you to evacuate, but if your ship is contracted to go to Chabahar, you're professionally obligated to be there.
Which is why you have to stay glued to these regional updates. Your commercial orders might be valid, but the safety protocols on the ground are changing day by day.
So it really seems like the modern seafarer is being squeezed from all sides. You need the oratory skills of a lawyer for your exams,
The tech savvy of an IT specialist for your profile?
and the risk assessment of a diplomat for your route.
That really paints the picture of how much the profession is evolving. It's becoming so much more demanding on the human element.
And that kind of leads to a final thought, doesn't it? In an industry that's pushing so hard for automation and smart ships, isn't it interesting that the regulatory focus is shifting so heavily back toward human articulation?
I think that's the key. As the machines do more of the calculating and the rote tasks, the premium, the really valuable skill, becomes the human ability to explain why we're making the decisions we're making.
Something to think about. Thanks for listening.